There's one question that almost all Poles collectively dislike. How are you? Boom! It's such a simple question, isn't it? Hey, jak się masz? I've been listening to this for quite a while. Comments on my videos, people saying, yeah, we Poles really dislike small talk. We don't like this question. How are you? How are you? How was your weekend? It's like, do you really care how was my weekend? Why are you asking me? They feel very uncomfortable with this small talk. I've thought about it because for ages, I've been surrounded by Poles. I also ask the question, hey, jak tam? But I recently released a reel on Instagram where I was speaking about the differences between a culture that values truth and honesty above all else and cultures that value a little bit more of this social harmony. I will read you some of the comments that I have on that reel on Instagram. A friend in Brazil started calling me a knife because she considered me to be too much cutting and straight to the point. I don't think she appreciated this way of being. Mind you, I am still above average social. I hate how are you, especially if I'm in a hurry and if I am not interested in how this person is doing because, he or she's a stranger. This is a pattern here, right? It's a pattern where people feel that when they're asked by a foreigner or someone that it's obviously not a Pole, because if they were a Pole, they would not be asking, how are you? But they feel that this question comes out of fakeness or it doesn't come out of a genuine place, that they would actually be interested in how they are. We prioritize sincerity and clarity over maintaining surface harmony, which is what I'm going to describe in a moment. And we don't consider that a problem. And the comments keep going and going. But the point is that it's all about how different societies prioritize different things. In Poland, it's very important to be honest. But in my opinion, it's fairly obvious that although Poles try not to open the doors to the soul, they are actually quite expressive people. The problem is that they sometimes are not even aware of what is it that they are expressing or opening their heart and soul to. If you're going to just say to somebody, how was your weekend? Maybe it feels a little attacking. Why are you up in my business? What are you trying to do? We're not friends, don't try. But at the same time, I sometimes find myself as a Latino and an oversharer Latino in awe that some people open up and tell me things that I would never tell someone. I've found myself sitting at a doctor's waiting lounge with someone next to me telling me all their medical problems. Or someone just shares with me that, they had a problem with their spouse. Like, I have people come to me, write to me on my social media and literally tell me that, they were cheated on and like things that are like, okay, that's quite intimate. Yet at the same time, these same people are saying that telling someone how your weekend was is just too personal. But I don't think that they do it willingly. I don't think that they even realize that they are being selective when it comes to the things that they deem appropriate or inappropriate or fake or not fake. Now, cultures like Polish, where being honest is important, they cannot almost fathom that there are other cultures that prioritize social harmony. So that means how you are conveyed towards others and how you behave in a social gathering is important. The way you react towards someone's words that are being said to you, those things are important because you have created a relationship. In Poland, a lot of conversations, they feel like a transaction of information. As simple as that. You're telling someone a piece of info and that's it. And it's almost kind of binary. It's true or not true. If it's true, then you say it. If it's not true, then you don't say it because you're lying. If it's half true, half not true, then it's also a lie. It's very binary. In a lot of the societies where this social harmony is important, like in Latin America, like in the United States of America, like in the UK, these societies, it's important to understand that when someone asks you, how are you? It's a pleasantry. It's literally just building a connection with somebody. It's not necessarily, I don't know how to explain this, that it doesn't sound weird. You have to be open-minded here. So you have to try to get out of your own head and your own belief system and out of your own bubble of reality and try to think, okay, whatever feels to me a certain way, there's an opposite, right? There's a mirror sometimes. There's someone else that feels exactly the opposite that I feel. And that is also true for them, right? There's no one culture or country of group of people that hold the absolute truth. That doesn't exist. Like, we cannot even agree on, the deity that we believe in, right? In the world, because everything depends. To zależy. So when somebody that comes from, let's say, Dominican Republic asks you, hey, how was your weekend? I don't want you to tell me if you slept in or if you didn't sleep in or if if your kids were at the pool or not. I mean, yes, you can. I'm not preventing you from doing that. And probably I would find something interesting in what you're telling me, unless you're going to give me a 5-minute tall tale on your weekend. But it's just a way for me to show you that, hey, you know what? I'm friendly with you. Our conversation's safe. I'm throwing you like a line of pleasantry. That's the only way I can describe it. It's a pleasantry. And many, many, many Polish people don't understand that. Polish people don't really understand the hidden communication of pleasantry, I think, in my opinion. With all due respect to all my beloved Poles, but I don't think that pleasantries here are seen as important. I don't think the pleasantries here are required, even though I'm going to call you guys out on this. I'm honest. You guys know I'm honest. With VIGO'S dad, with me, with JT, you are expecting honesty always. You guys hide a little bit behind of this honesty to sometimes deliver a little bit of a brutal dig at something. Right? And you see it between family members. You see it sometimes between friendships or something, or as simple as just going to a store and how someone treats you and tells you something. It's like, okay, listen, I don't think that this is necessarily you being honest. I think you are being mean. I think that societies that value this social harmony, we for sure are a little bit more brittle and fragile, and our hearts get broken easier. Slavs are known for being tough and, relatively tough skin. Still, I've heard a lot of Poles complain that, oh my God, this lady at the apteka treated me badly. The way she was talking, and I had to talk back to her because she was being so unpleasant. So people get used to this honesty that gets intertwined and mixed with this brutal unpleasantries. All of a sudden, people here are also paying for that. The best and most prime example are those Poles that have been living abroad for a while, and then they come back to Poland, or every summer they come to do whatever they want to do in Poland, and then they start complaining, oh my God, people in Poland are so grumpy, or people in Poland are so difficult. A family member, or they're just so set in their ways. You know what I'm talking about. Now, all of a sudden, the pleasantries from these countries that they've been living at, all of a sudden make a little bit more sense, right? Because you can see the other side of the societies of truth, as I call them, right? There is an ugly side to all societies, don't get me wrong. I believe that when a Pole sits with you and gives you the time of day, and they want to connect with you in a more honest way, they want to tell you their problems, the things that bother them, or they want to maybe share their happiness, it comes from a real place of honesty. That's true. That's 100% true. When someone tells me something here, very often you know that there's not like a hidden agenda. There's nothing like that. This is what it is. Either you like it or you don't. But it doesn't mean that someone that is just being pleasant is being a liar. And that's where I get a little ticked off. And I do get a little ticked off when I see some of the comments. Like, for example, look at this comment on the reel that I shared with you guys. Social harmony without the truth. What for? A half a truth is a whole lie. A half a truth is a whole lie. I'm sorry, but that is so close-minded for me to even accept that. In life, sometimes something is half true and it's also not half true. So this type of thoughts really get my mind going, because the social element to it, the cultural element to it, the psychological element to it is so deep, they're so strong, that people cannot see beyond that reality. And the same thing can be said about someone coming here to Poland, seeing a person at the apteka for years and never being friendly, like to an American, to a Latino. That is almost unheard of. Like, I have a viewer from Venezuela, and she tells me, I feel so sad. My neighbors have seen me here for 3 years. I've helped them with their dog. 3 years later, they still don't talk to me, basically. She feels so detached, so like this human element is not there. But if you ask the neighbors, they will tell you, well, she's okay. She's a nice Venezuelan lady that lives next door, but we don't know her. She's not our friend. There are many reasons as to why someone feels something or doesn't feel something, like they don't feel like they want to share with someone they don't know. There are reasons for that. But my point is that I think it's important we try to see that as much as we feel about something, there's someone else in the world or a group of people out there that feel exactly the same way, but in the opposite direction. And that's why, for example, when you go and you live abroad and you experience these things, you start realizing that, hey, wow, maybe the way I grew up is not the end all be all. It might be important. It may still be the way that I prefer to live my life. And if that's okay with you, and you want to listen to the sentence and the question, how are you? And decide not to answer because, you know what? I don't feel like it. I can just say, spoken, and cut it there. You are in your total right. But to think that someone that is asking you that doesn't care about you, I think is also wrong. Because I ask people how are they all the time, and I care. I truly care. So stay open, friends. Tell me what you think. If you think all this is just all pleasantries and they're wasting your time, say it. I don't care because that channel is your channel. See you on another episode. Adios.